If you look at the future, if you go 5 years out, if you go 10 years out, I believe that this distributed ledger technology could be absolutely huge for a lot of the use cases you've mentioned, Bridget. This could be one of the technologies where the structure of the technology industry looks different. There's a new set of players that rise. That's why you're not allowed to answer. Do you guys agree with that? Do you see new companies on a mega scale rising, or do you see like the classic database vendors or the classic companies that could kind of buy into these technologies, kind of owning them and taking them? Just kind of curious for how you see it affecting the structure of the industry, because it goes across every vertical. This could be massive.
Go ahead, Bridget.
So again, very early days, and none of us has a crystal ball, but I see that the traditional technology companies will engage, and we see that already. I see that new technology companies will evolve, and we've seen some amazing technology breakthroughs, and I think we'll look back 5 years and we'll have some great big technology companies coming out of this. And then I also see that traditional incumbent companies such as jewelry owners or mines will actually run and own blockchain networks. So the monetization of blockchain will not just be the technology provider, but it'll be the owners and participants in the network. So one can think about it as both the technology provider, but also who will convene and be the winner takes most in many of these networks. That's one angle. The other angle, since you asked, I actually think this is a very democratizing technology. I don't think that necessarily the big four has to dominate this, because many people can start networks, and this technology is available. It's easy to do a blockchain and build one now.
Can I interject one thing? The one observation I'd make in terms of being a democratizing technology, which theoretically I agree with, don't lose sight of the fact that Bitcoin today, part of these holy wars, Bitcoin today is controlled by China. There are 4 miners that control more than 51% of the hash rate, and they can control the future of Bitcoin. And I listened to Senator Warner this morning talking about the influence of China around technology. This is a real issue.
Mm-hmm. And this is why you have the government paying such close attention to this. And again, it's coming at it from many angles. I mean, you have the government using these technologies, right? Yeah. You have them also regulating these technologies, and you have them keeping a really close eye on them for the very reasons that you just mentioned, Brad.
Yeah, and they can also help government with regulation itself, right? Storing know your customer records on a blockchain is something that's being done by the Monetary Authority of Singapore.
So I think, and this is not unique to the U.S. By the way, people say, well, why do you believe that? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what the law is. And the law is, it's not just in the U.S. There is broad extraterritorial reach, not just of U.S. securities laws, but of all kinds of different jurisdictions' securities laws. So I always wonder when some projects, I won't name names, say we're going to this jurisdiction or we're going to relocate here. The fact of the matter is, if you're marketing to U.S. investors and you have U.S. victims, if there are people who lose money in this, you can bet that the U.S. regulators might well exercise jurisdiction no matter where you are. And it's not going to be enough to say, well, we're a shell company in the Cayman Islands. I'm not picking on EOS here, by the way. I'm just saying, I think what they said is to avoid regulatory scrutiny, Peter. I don't think they said that's why they went to the Caymans. I think they said that's why they were not going to market to U.S. investors or Chinese investors. However, I think one of the things regulators are going to rightly look at is, okay, even if you cut yourself off from the U.S. or Chinese market, did you know there was a secondary market and you were kind of willfully blind? So you knew that you were really having U.S. investors. And, that's one of the reasons that these things take a lot of time. To do an enforcement action like that, you can bet that the government could be doing undercover buys. They might be doing search warrants. They'll be obtaining emails.
So a body of water is not going to prevent you from being regulated.
That's a good way to put it.
Real quick, Fred.
Hey, Fred Vogelstein at Wired. How are you guys? Facebook said that it's starting a whole blockchain division. Did I step out of the room and miss this question?
No, it was on my list. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Can you guys speculate about some of the things that blockchain could help Facebook do? One of the questions I always had was whether or not it would help them deal with their fake account issue better, but I don't know enough about the technology to know whether or not it could do that. So I guess I'd ask you guys to speculate a little bit.
That away.
Well, I'm not going to speculate. I will say that I remember that Mark Zuckerberg posted when he made one of his New Year's resolutions publicly to learn more about blockchain technologies. And it's, again, not just blockchain, it's blockchain technologies. So it could be permissioned, could be public, and cryptocurrencies. And I believe he posted was to help see if they could solve the fake ad problem.